I remember going into surgery, about to go in, and I remember thinking it would be great if I didn't wake up. Ooh, I don't think I've even like really processed that. But I woke up. But I think that was just like the cloudiest moments of my life. I was overweight. I was bullied. I didn't feel handsome. I just didn't feel.
From the soulful streets of Saginaw, Michigan to the national stage of American Idol, Charles Allen is more than just a voice, he's a movement. Blending rock, R&B, gospel, and personal truth, Charles brings music and mental health into harmony. Inspired by his legendary mother, Cherie Williams, and shaped by a deeply personal journey through misdiagnosis and healing, he's using his platform to break stigma and build community. Thank you so much, Charles, for being here. Did you like that intro?
I like that intro. Thank you for having me.
Yes. How was your energy today?
I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, a little bit late, but good.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. As long as you get here safely to have this conversation.
I appreciate it.
Yes. I'm excited for this because I've seen you over the years, and I would say the beginning was Sin of Retraction, just seeing you at church, singing, your mom, who I didn't know at the time was your mom. And I'm like, man, you guys have some beautiful voices.
Thank you.
But to kind of learn a little bit of backstory was very shocking. To the bio that you sent me, right? Did not know some of those things. And I'm really excited that you're here to really talk about mental health. So let's go back in the early years. Gonna do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's take that journey. So like my therapist. What's up?
Let's go back. No, but take me back to childhood. Like, who was little Charles? Were you the quiet kid, the talkative kid, the singing kid? What was that like?
I was always the singing kid. Now, I will say Charles was always a singer. I talked, but it I don't know if it made sense.
Yeah.
I always say I have an old soul. So like my parents were older. My dad, when he died, he was 87.
Oh, wow.
And he was like my hero. So, and he was a white man who raised me. So it was different for me. It was not like a nuclear black family, which I don't know if we have like that, if it's that common. But I remember like as early as 6 or 7 walking down this half-a-mile driveway depressed because nobody else liked me because I sang all the time and I was me. And I was in a culture shock school. We went to Bridgeport when it was Bridgeport. Now it's like very diverse, but back then it was not diverse. I mean, people will say it was diverse. People will tell you that it was no problems there, but there was problems there. So there was a lot of issues on the bus. There was a lot of issues with the fact that my parents were interracial. And there was a lot of issues with the fact that we didn't live in Bridgeport. We lived in Spalding Township, which is a little bit different than Bridgeport. So I was talkative to family. I asked a lot of questions. My family will tell you that. So I'll give you that perspective. And tell me to wrap me up.
No, this is very interesting because, again, I've only seen you essentially at church.
Yes.
I didn't know this backstory, so this is very fascinating to hear.
Yes.
So you believe that at the age of 6 and 7, you were depressed.
Yes. I know. I don't believe I know.
6,
7, and 8. School was challenging.
Now, were you the only child?
No.
Okay.
I had a brother. I have a brother. I have brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Look, let's do that really quick. My mother has one child, one other child, which is my brother. He is my eldest brother. He was born August 23rd. His birthday just passed. He is 40 now this year. I'm 35 this year. So we're 5 years apart. He was born in 85. I was born in 90. I don't know why I need to do that, but I need to do that. And then on my father's side, my father has Shanira, which is my eldest sister, me, my brother Tyrone, Kavari, Cheyenne, Charletta.
Oh, wow.
So,
It's a big family.
That's my father, who he didn't raise me, but it's a big family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're cool now. And then Pops, who raised me, had Petey, Brian, Danny, Sissy, and then all of his host of grandchildren, like, which Pops was 87 when he died. So his grandchildren are in their 40s and 50s.
Oh, wow.
So my family is like I have a nephew who is like maybe 29, 30, like all of those gaps. So yeah. But
huge family though.
Huge family.
And almost kind of like the baby child, right?
Of everything. I am the baby of on both sides of all spectrums besides my father's side, like, because I'm like the second eldest, but that's a strange family. Love them, but they're strange. I would say that my mother's family, there's I'm the baby cousin, which that means that like my eldest cousin is like in his 50s. Under that is like another 40-year-old or 50-year-old, and then Tasha's like, and then it's my brother who's 40, and then it's me who's 35. My kids are 7. Their kids are grown.
Yeah.
So
huge age gap.
Huge age gap.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So let me ask you, being that you were the youngest and the baby almost, did you feel different in any way compared to your siblings?
I felt like I didn't get a lot of time with my grandmother, and she was a beautiful soul.
Okay.
I just said to my mom, I said, I wish I had more time, because she died in like 2001. I was 11 years old. And she's the one that knew everything. She knew, like, he's different. Something is, he's special. When your family says, oh, he's special, she would tell my grandfather, like, you can't treat him like that. He's special. And I was like, what does that mean? I know now.
What does it mean now that you know?
I looked at the world completely different than any of her grandchildren. And she knew that very quickly. And she allowed me to be me. And it's crazy because I would remember her writing, and I could see the most beautiful penmanship in the world. She used to make these W's with like a wing on them, and then she had a ledger because she recorded videos in movies, like VHS ledger.
Oh, wow.
So every movie that came out, like Michael Jackson, American Dream, like she had me like my tapes. This is for you. I made this for you because I loved Michael. Yeah. So she had like his Super Bowl performance, the Jackson 5 American Dreams, and then the Munich, Germany, or Bucharest, Germany performance, like so that was grandma. Grandma was like everything. So for me being the youngest, I was the one that, I was going to be the last out of school. I was the last out of school. Like my cousins, by the time I got to high school, my cousin paid for me to go to night school to make sure I graduated.
Wow.
So I think that was like, that's a big deal. I've always had like an elder cousin. I don't know if it's
who like looked after you.
Looked after me. Now we're to the point where it's like, my cousin's like, man, you a smooth dude. You turned into like this smooth. I was like, oh, thanks, cuz he was just here. The eldest was just here a week ago, and he's a therapist. Okay. He's got like a doctorate in psychology, and I think I'm getting that right, cuz forgive me. I know I got all this education, but yeah.
But I'm curious, like with your grandmother kind of saying, he's special. She's recording these videos and music for you. So did she see that talent very early on? Did your mom see it? Because your mom's also a singer. Like, who first noticed that talent of yours?
I would say it was my mom.
Okay.
When my grandmother died is when my gift began to really, truly develop.
And what age was that for you?
So I sang my first solo at 6. So that's when I started singing. It was at Word of Faith. I gave my life to the Lord at 6. We did like a jubilee. It might have been 7 or so. But I sang I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. And I promise you, they skipped over me. They forgot about me. It was my mom who said, "No, my baby is on that list, and it's time for him to sing."
Yeah.
And I think that was my mom knew. I think they all knew I was not great.
But you had confidence.
I did. My grandmother got to see me sing, so she did. She knew I could sing. I don't think she knew that it was going to be like this. Because when she died is when music became the hospital. I remember them calling me. They didn't want me. I had begged because she was in Henry Ford when she died. She had pneumonia. First of all, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her.
Yeah.
My grandmother had like over 30 surgeries in her life. Like she had just got a kidney 2 years before she died. So I met her, your complexion. When she died, she was high yellow, which they all knew this. Like, because when you lose your functions of your kidneys, like your body drains and you're like, you look different. I mean, she was so high yellow, so red bone and beautiful. And my family would always say she peed till the day she died. Just her beauty was hard for me to cope with losing. And what it was is like, she had this song and it was, maybe you've heard it, but it's, yesterday a man stepped to me, he said, "How can you smile when your world is tumbling down?" I said in my sleep. Anyways, it's basically the song says, "Hold on, change is coming." And this was her favorite song. And we lived in the country, river ran behind our house. She had died. I had begged them to go to Henry Ford. They end up calling me at school to tell me she died. Like, they didn't tell me. I just remember my teacher saying, "Hey, your parents need to see you." My parents was driving a Sunfire at that time, a green teal Sunfire. And they came and got me. And my dad was driving. He never picked me up from school. And he was weird. And he was always the real guy, like the real talker. Like Charlie, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, blah, 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 blah. He would always have like a layout. I said, "Just tell me the truth." I remember we was driving. I said, "Dad, just tell me," because he kept talking about stuff that didn't make sense. And he knew that I knew. And he drove me to Esslin Street. And I mean, before I could even get in the house, I knew. I like walked in the door and I was all dramatic. I fell in the ground. Because, and I'm being facetious because of the fact that it was so painful for me.
Yeah.
One, I didn't get to say goodbye. So, to bring back to your question, I realized music was going to be my escape when she died, and I was on the riverbank singing the song "Hold On" loud as can be, and my dad was with one of his friends, and one of his friends said, "He's pretentious. He wants everybody to hear him sing." And my dad looked at him. He told me this story later. He looked at the guy and he said, "He's under the bridge. He's on the riverbank and he's singing.
Yeah.
Who hears him? He's not doing it for you. He doesn't care if you hear it. He needs this." And I think that was the juice. It was like, okay, I knew I had to do something.
So 6 years old, you discover you enjoy singing, and then grandmother passed. But what age was that?
11.
11. Okay.
11.
So this is when you start to take on this journey.
I think so. I mean, I think it was 7 or 8 when Purple Rain was, I heard my mother sing Purple Rain, and I was like, I want to make people feel that way, because I was sobbing. And then 11 though was when it was like, my dad wanted me to sing Rockin' Robin, and my mom, he wanted me to sing with my mom's band. My mom was like, "All right, we're gonna make it happen." And I got up, and the band that she had at the time overplayed me, and I was crushed. And my dad was crushed too. And me and my dad always had these schemes together. We were he was like, "We're gonna fire the whole band." And
he sounds like a great support, though.
he was. We were getting ready to fly to California one time because like these people were like, he's great. They heard me singing like 20 seconds. We need $300. And my mom come home. She was always the voice of like reason. She was like, hey guys, they want $300 right now. Why? And my dad was like, because they're going to make him a star. Who have they made stars?
Yeah. You need those people in your life, though.
She was like, I've been all over the world.
Yeah.
And they're asking you for the money before you go. It's a no. Mm-hmm. So then like my mom got on the phone with those people. It was like, we want to talk back to his dad.
Yeah. They want to sell a dream.
So what happened was just fast, quick. Rock and Robin didn't work. I went back to the bar. My parents owned a bar. We're a working family. Okay. I was serving food at 11 years old, by the way. I was on the catering line telling people that my dad had squoze all the gas out of the beans. Like, that was my family life. Yeah. And there was a night, my mom had a Monday night blues night, and there was like, are you going to sing? And I was like, yeah. Well, Rudy happened to be there. Rudy was a worship leader. Mm-hmm. So I knew that he knew the song that I needed to sing. And somehow I just got to the point where it was like, I need to sing what represents me. And I sang This Is the Air I Breathe, or Breathe by Michael W. Smith at the time. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was this part where, you go, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba, and like, I'm like singing, I'm desperate for you. And everybody in the bar is in. We're in worship. We're not like listening to music. People are crying. Like, I'm on this stage. I mean, I was probably 12 by this point. Yeah. And I remember I did it.
Yeah. That was the moment.
It was like, I did it. I did it. And then Sin of Attraction happened. I became a worship leader. I was on the youth praise team. And then fast forward, years later, like people start and then it was American Idol at 2012.
Wait. We're going to get on there. You're going to just tell them everything. Like, we're going to get there. This is layered. You got to take your time here.
See, that's what'll happen when you meet. All right, I'm gonna let you do the question. All right, I'm gonna let you lead. I'm sorry.
No, but this is beautiful because, like I said, that's where I met you, right? Mm-hmm. Just seeing you at Center of Attraction and just singing so beautifully.
Thank you.
Okay, so you take us through that moment. You really learning and seeing for yourself that I have something here that's great, and I want to share it with the world. Mm-hmm. But there's also a mental health component that I want to touch on as well before we even get to American Idol.
Yeah.
So, given that you went through that experience with your grandmother passing and now music is sort of becoming your passion and purpose, at what point did you feel like something was off as far as mentally and emotionally? I know at 6 you felt or you believed that you were depressed. But going forward, what was like a moment for you where you realized like, okay, something's not right?
So... And I don't know if people want to know this, but I probably didn't really know. I thought that life was normal until I got about 20. I don't even want to say 20. Because at 13, I wanted to commit suicide.
Why? You just gave a beautiful performance at 12. What shifted?
It wasn't a shift. I was and I have to so sometimes the way my parallel mind works, like it's like kind of weird thing. So I could talk about the music and I could talk about it. I'm not talking about like the things that led up to that. Me and my brother didn't have a good relationship in the household. It was actually abusive. I lived in a country town. And we got, my brother got spit on. He got his collarbone broke. We were called the N-word. I'm going to be very proper. And even though sometimes I feel like they need to hear it. They need to hear what it makes you feel like. So I think the girl who said to me, her name was Amanda, and she looked at me and she said, "You don't have any friends." And that was like swing set. So I had to be third grade, maybe second grade. And that's when I really knew that I was saved, because I like looked at her, I was like, Jesus is my friend.
That's okay.
So I think it was those moments, the fact that in like third grade, or was it not third grade, second grade, I remember it was second grade, I couldn't tell time. And I remember like the teacher calling home, was like, he can't tell time, he won't focus, he won't do this, he won't sit down, he's a class clown, he never does. And we need to put him on medicine. And my parents like, oh no, we are not putting our child on medication. And I could still like, if I ever do a music video for the song Trapped in My Mind, I could still see the clocks, because they were shoving clocks in my face. What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time? I was like, okay, all right. I got it.
Yeah.
And I learned how to tell time. But that was their mental check note. If I could learn how to tell time, they never addressed medicine again. They never talked about what they meant. And that's like, so I kind of just thought this was normal. My parents they covered me. I want to be mad at them sometimes, like when I get to like the 35s, and I'm like, but they covered me. They put me at their table and they covered me, and they made sure, even if we know, nobody knows. So, and I don't know if that's good or not. So I know that at 13, 14, I had just had major leg surgery.
Okay.
And actually, I'll tell you like this: February 19th of, because I was 8th grade, so that would have been, I'm trying to give you ages.
About that age, 13-ish.
Yeah,
12,
13. That's so. I had a what you call Blount's disease, and I promise you, our people is so crazy because people like bow legs, but the technical term is Blount's disease. And I only had it in one leg. I had a 40-degree angle on my leg. And the dog, Munchie at the time, my mom just laughed at me like recently, had like a cancer pus on her leg. And my dad loved dogs. And he was like, I'm going to get Munchie's leg fixed. And like, I remember sitting at the table and like hitting the table really hard. And I was like, if you guys get that dog's leg fixed before you get my leg fixed, like this, it's going to be a problem. I'm going to leave.
You were just gonna leave as a kid.
I was gonna leave as a kid. My mom said, she said, one thing about you is you've always told me everything that I needed to know. Yeah. And she talked about that. Well, I remember going into surgery, about to go in, and I remember thinking it would be great if I didn't wake up. Ooh, I don't think I've even like really processed that.
Sorry.
I was just like, it's okay. But I woke up. But I think that was just like the cloudiest moments of my life. I was overweight. I was bullied. I didn't feel handsome. I just didn't feel. And went down to University of Michigan, and they literally cut my bone in half, sawed off half of it, and tied it back together with a Mercator fixator and sent me home afterwards. And I had to learn how to like walk again, and I did this through 8th grade. And that's when I arrived to Center of Attraction. That's when I really knew that I had like stress, anxiety, something was going on. I didn't know how to call it. And we're at the bar like maybe 6 months after surgery or so. And I just had visions of walking in front of a semi. And I didn't die in the surgery, but I still wanted to die. And I don't say that because I don't say it lightly, but I think people really need to know, like, even as a child, like I knew that I was not okay.
Yeah.
And I knew that for some reason at that time, it felt like life would be easier if I wasn't here. And so that's when I knew. And all of that's happening. And my grandmother died in that area too. So like there was like a lot. And then not only my grandmother, my favorite aunt died too. They died back to back. Because my grandmother died, and then maybe a year later, my aunt died before surgery. I remember thinking, oh, surgery date's going to be fast because we're going to have to do another funeral. And we did the funeral, and then I got the surgery. And
that's a lot to deal with as a child. And I think sometimes parents, and it's not that I don't think it's their fault, but they're just going through their own life as well. Your mom's dealing with the death of her parent, and she's trying to also be a mother. And I think at the time we kind of lose sight of our children and what they're experiencing, and we don't check in. So that's heavy.
Yes, no check-ins. It was very heavy. It was very heavy. And then I really found Jesus.
Yeah.
That's how I made it. I found, listen, center of attraction was a big deal for me because I was coming there limping, physically, mentally, spiritually limping. And Brian could see.
Shout out to Brian Pruitt.
Shout out to Brian Pruitt.
I love that guy.
My God.
He's a youth pastor.
Yep. and that's crazy. May I ask how old you are?
I am in my 30s. I'm a little bit younger than you.
Okay, you're a little bit younger than me. But you have a sister, right?
Yes. Yep.
And your sister's older than us,
yes,
right?
Yep.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, just trying to make sure. Yeah, shout out to Brian.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kingdom Shakers.
Yes. Yes.
We are shakers, movers, doers, hearers. Because at that time, Pops knew that he couldn't teach me how to be a black man. The best man in the world had that understanding with God that I was not his, but I was his. And that he had to do the right thing. And the right thing was to partner with a strong black man. And they made this man. Yeah. So I often tell people about my son's name because my son's name is Charles Brian Norman because there wouldn't be a him unless there was the correction. So my father left when I was 3. Pops was when I was 6. And Brian was when I was 14. So I had this moment, my 3 dads, all of these people molded me into this person.
So, that is beautiful.
So I know you got some questions. I've talked too much.
No, but this backstory just really lays the foundation of everything.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
So, okay, we're going through this layered childhood, and you were also diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Now, when did that diagnosis come about?
Girl, too late. Listen, I don't know if I can lift this up a little bit.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, I was 29.
Wow. So this is now we have some time. So there was these suicidal thoughts. I don't want to say did it leave, but did it start to go away once you got involved with Kingdom Shakers and under Brian's leadership and everything?
Yes, because Brian Pops he filled the gap. Brian dealt with the issue. So it was like Pops was like seasoning me, like making sure I was good. Like he was giving me play the trumpet of life, Charlie, da, 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 But Brian came in and said, "Where's your dad?" And it made me because that was the true depression. Was the real issue was this, is that I felt worthless. Abandoned, broken, and out of my element. Not even having not that anything, I say this, my dad, Pops, who raised me, was amazing. but he never could tackle. He couldn't tackle racism. He didn't know how to tackle that because he knew he was not racist. There was not a racist bone in his body.
Yeah.
But he had this way of dealing with racism that he thought was possible for me to like look past it and not, because he would say like, you got a lot of anger in you because of this, blah, blah, blah. But when you go to Bridgeport and you experience what I experienced in Bridgeport, you definitely gonna have some anger. So Brian literally just was able to cause massive realignment. That's why I knew he was my spiritual father and Apostle James wasn't. Mm. Oh yeah, I'm telling the truth today, okay? I knew right away that he was my spiritual father because he caused me to line up. He caused me to minister. He called the king out in me. Mm. And
but it was also like, I also want to say this though, but it's also that alignment with Brian being in the church too, though.
No,
like you know what I mean? Like sometimes you wouldn't get that connection.
You wouldn't get that. No, absolutely not negative to Apostle. Yeah, because Apostle was a great guy, and he was Brian's spiritual father. So if he didn't have that connection, he wouldn't have been able to do the things that he was able to do with me. Yeah. However, though, I always knew very quickly that I wasn't his son. I knew that Brian was my daddy. Yeah. I knew very quickly. I remember Brian. So just to answer the question, Brian pulled me off of the floor. He had a black suit on. I snotted his suit out. Mm. I was bawling. I always tell people the gross parts because it helps me deal with
the visual.
It helps me deal with the emotional trauma though, that there is. So I always be like, I want to tell this part about it. But he said, hug me. Mm. God wants to hug you. Now, remember I told you earlier that after my grandmother died, I realized music was a hospital. And up until this point, the only song I had written was Why Did You Leave Me? Because I wrote that in sixth grade. Me and my mom sat down and I was like, I got this song. And it was, she left me standing on the corner, waiting for her after school. And it was like this whole, why did you leave me? Why did you go away? So I didn't really, at this time, like I was just writing about this girl. I don't even know who she was. I wish I knew who she was today because I don't. And that was the first song I wrote. And, but after that song came Look at Me Now. Mm. And Look at Me Now talks about the bullying. It talks about through all the rain, I still remain the same. I've overcame. It's the story. And my dream was to sing at my commencement ceremony. So like I'm trying to fast forward you the quickest way. And the route is that I met Marty Sageman, and Marty Sageman was like, yo, this girl, she didn't want us to I went to an alternative school. Mm-hmm. So if you want to talk about why I knew something was wrong, is because I couldn't make it in regular school. Yeah. School had to be tailored to me. Like I needed one hallway. I needed to be able to independent studies test out. I didn't realize like the social battery that I thought I had, I really didn't have it. Like I would be like and then I have to like go back and come back in my shell. So I wanted these friends that I couldn't even handle. Yeah. That was like, I was reaching and searching for that. So I end up getting to Center of Attraction, doing my 4 years of Center of Attraction. I did middle school. I came there in 8th grade, had my surgery, went to 9th grade, went to see Usher for the very first time. That's a very good monumental moment for me. First concert. And then being in Kingdom Shakers. And then I started writing for real. Okay. And it was Look at Me Now. By the time I got to my senior year, like I still don't know something is wrong mentally. I just know I have anxiety around people. I'm not good with time. I'm time blind. Like, and I can only call that stuff out now because
now you have the words.
Now I have the words. Yeah. But back then it was just, I was always late. Mm-hmm. It was, I never wanted to finish my homework until it was the day before it had to be done. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there trying to catch up for a whole week's of work. Also, the other thing, like about 9th grade, I realized that if I didn't want to do it or if I wasn't interested in it, I could fall asleep for it. And Miss Peterson, you never was right. But I love you though. But Miss Pete, you let me sleep my whole 9th grade math class away. You never wrote me up. You never sent me the decision. You did me a disservice, girl. I need that math back today.
Oh my gosh.
So
sorry, Miss Peterson.
Sorry, Miss Peterson. I love you though. I do. So listen, that's all of those things. But what happened was I wrote Look at Me Now. Then after Look at Me Now, I wrote Where's My Father? And when I wrote Where's My Father, it's really when I start dealing with the things that of the abandonment. The words, it just says, reaching out to touch you, just to hear you say happy birthday once a year. Working and striving just to hear these simple words. I want to hear my father say I'm proud. Yeah. And that's what began to write the story was me. People always say, I hear the writer take his pen. Well, no, I was literally writing my deliverance because I had no therapist. My parents were so saved. Like Pops wasn't that, Pops was that slick one. But my mama was sanctified, okay? Yeah. We don't claim mental illnesses. Remind you, they covered me already. And I know why they covered me, because in a system like Bridgeport, Black men are demonized. They're always going to be they give our kids Ritalin. They give other kids Focalin. It's weird. It's a weird gap in medicine. That's why I even do what I do now. So I got to Where's My Father? And that's when I started asking the real question is like, I want to ask this question. Well, here's the thing. I found out generations of my family, my mother, her father left her at the hospital. She was the last child born. So my mom's a baby too. Her father never came and got him. Married my grandmother's best friend. My grandmother dealt with that trauma for all of my life.
Wow.
So when my mom was dealing with her fatherlessness issues, I seen her go through it. So the second verse is about my mom. The first verse was about me. It says, what would make a man leave his daughter finding love from other men? And in the second verse, it says, she finally met a man that's going to let her kingdom reign. But you're missing in action. Basically, if I ever did a video, it would be her about to walk down the aisle and don't have her dad there. So these moments started. And then it was 22.
2020 or age 22?
I was age 22.
Okay.
So we're at Idol now. So you need to tell me if you want to ask a question before I lead you.
Well, we were talking about the bipolar diagnosis. But
I can't get there until 29.
So now we have to get you at American Idol. Okay.
We have to or we could go bipolar diagnosis, but it's gonna fast forward us there. So
all right. So let's do a short version of American Idol.
Short version of American Idol. Great. So 2018 or 2008, child.
No,
2008.
Yeah.
I sang at my commencement ceremony. Look at me now. I graduated from high school. Apostle James and my mother didn't want me to go to Berkeley. I wanted to go to Berkeley. They wanted me to go to Delta. I had a 90 credit scholarship. And guess what? I'm going to tell y'all parents something. If I got something to tell you, y'all better work on y'all plans with y'all kids because their plan is going to be the plan. I just want to let you know because my mama's still wishing I would have went to college. And I'm wishing I would have went to college too. I'm going back. But I took the
will say that education will always be there, though.
It will.
It will always be there. But you can always go back.
You can. But I took the 90 credit hours free that I had and never used them because I had a dream and I wanted to go to Berkeley and I wanted to go to American Idol. And I end up auditioning my very first time, 2008. Didn't make it in, but that's when I realized what real true depression was, because like I had suicidal thoughts and things like that, but after 2008, like getting crushed like that, I came home, I licked my wounds, I started using drugs. I wasn't a drinker or a smoker until after that. that happened, and then it was like, I need a coping mechanism. And I wasn't using like, I'm not, I wouldn't, no, just little liquor.
So you rejected. When did you go back to American Idol?
I went back in 2010.
Okay, 2 years later.
I got cut in 2010.
Okay.
I went back in 2011. I got cut in 2011. And then I went back in 2012. Actually, I auditioned for Sunday's Best, American Idol, X Factor, all in a sweep every year. That's what I was doing. In Sunday's Best, y'all never wanted me. Y'all never wanted me. So,
but you do make it. And, but that's like, I love stories like this. Like, and I don't mean it in that way, but I mean, could you imagine you made it in 2008? You don't know where your life would have been, whether you would have actually win or whatever.
It would have been a disaster.
But it built that resiliency in you, you know, that rejection. And it's like, okay, I've been rejected, but you went back. It wasn't like you were like, I'm just done with this thing. You kept going back. That is, to me, that's resilient.
It is. And actually, to be honest with you, every year after
you got better.
I got better. Yeah. Out of 100,000 kids, I placed top 80 overall. And then out of top 40 guys around the country.
Yeah.
And every audition, I learned something. Every audition, I learned something. And that was like, I don't even talk about it today because it's so weird for me to talk about, because God humbled me through that process. Because even while the TV show was airing, I was serving tables. I already knew I was cut.
Yeah.
And I'm serving these tables. I'm like, yes, thank you for coming to Famous Days. I'm singing and singing and singing. And singing Happy Birthday, I started charging the servers. They wanted me to sing Happy Birthday. I was like, you got to pay me $20 to sing to your table.
Yeah.
So that's what the thing. So now, after Idol, I dealt even more with depression, because that was like the thing. So, but really what happened was, no, go ahead. You got a question?
So now we're past Idol.
Yeah, we're past Idol.
How did we get the bipolar diagnosis?
First, I got married.
Okay. What age was that?
I was 27 when I got married. So 22, first of all, I don't want to skip over this most important part, because before we got off Idol, and then we shot another TV show. It was called TV for Dads.
Okay.
And it was in Montana. It's where I Forgive You This Day happened. I forgave my father. It's the only reason why I could have kids today, or I could have ever gotten married, is because I went to Montana with Brian Pruitt, of course. He called me. He said, hey, you just off Idol. I got somebody interested in shooting another TV show. Would you like to go? And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. He was like, all right, send me your social security number. Send me your birth date. Send me your legal name. Because I've always been going by a pseudonym. Yeah. And I sent it to him. He booked the flight, and then he sent me the itinerary. And this joker said we need hiking shoes. Lies. I went.
Yeah.
And this was the greatest moment of my life, because the weight that I carried, I was getting ready to get rid of. I didn't know. Everybody was calling me. I had left Center of Attraction by this point, because after Idol, I left Center of Attraction. Yeah. We did the TCT interview. Apostle James asked me, what's the number 7 represent? And I said, the number of completion. And I don't know what it was about that moment, but that was the shift. I knew that it was time to go. I knew, and for anybody out there, let me tell you something. There's no negativity, but if you have a dream and you're going to a church, or you're at a job that doesn't believe in your dream or doesn't believe where you're going, you have to leave. You have to leave quickly. You have to get out, else your dream will be compromised. So that's why I left. Boom, point blank. I'm adult now. I can say. It wasn't about emotions. It was about
you made a pivot.
The limit. You can't allow people to limit you. So I end up.
You're in Montana.
You're
hiking.
No, I'm not hiking.
Not hiking
I'm
yet.
300. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. Okay. I still remember the show opening. And I don't talk about this enough, but I was struggling with weight my whole life. So let's flavor that in. My whole life, I'm struggling with weight. And I'm the heaviest I've ever been. I'm busting out of this 2X shirt at this camp. And they're asking like, hey, do you want to go hiking with us? Because we're going to hike 1,500 feet elevation. And I already got elevation sickness because we're in Montana and mosquitoes got knives around there. And me and Brian are not drinking the water because we don't want to drink the well water. One night, and we shared a room one night, we got so sick that we both was at the water well drinking the water because we couldn't make it. So anyways, I end up, the Lord said, forgive your dad before you leave the mountain. And I was like, okay. I ain't go up the mountain. I wasn't going to go up the mountain. Then next morning, when he said that to me, I had to get up and go up the mountain.
This episode is brought to you by the Saginaw County Health Department, delivering groundbreaking work in community health transformation and collaborating with Be Well Saginaw partners to make Saginaw one of Michigan's top 25 healthiest communities. Learn more at saginawpublichealth.org.
So I go up to the mountain, and here's the thing about a mountaintop experience. I did not want to go, but Brian Molitor, I'm not sure if you know who Brian Molitor is, but every once in a while at Kingdom Shakers, we would have those Malachi motivational moments where they would like teach Malachi trainings and okay.
I heard of Molitor because they do it. Brian works for Molitor, and so they come to our job. So yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Boom. There you go. So Brian Molitor, Papa Molitor, he asked me, he was like, hey, are you going up to the mountain with us? And I was like, this morning, we all wait, because we'd all wake up and pray. And I was like, yep, I'm going to go. He gave me this hat. I went up to the mountain. I was the last one to make it up. However, everybody else had made it. And Jody Bass, Jackson Dunn, those two guys came back after they made it and walked me up the rest of the way. Now look, it was kind of a weird moment because at this point, it reminded me of when I was in wrestling. And I remember coming home to Pops and I said, I ran a mile. And I said, I was the last one, but I did it. And that was like.
And that's what matters.
So the mountain, it rained. It was messy. It was dirty. I didn't want to continue. I didn't have on the right clothes, nor did I have the right shoes. And it was like, this was the real moment of forgiving my dad because it was messy. It was raining. I didn't have the right clothes. I didn't have the right shoes. But I had to take the journey because it was holding me back. And I get up to the mountain and it's a clear, after the rain, after the mud, it's a clear blue sky. Crystal clear. They going grayling fishing. They want to go fishing. It rained for like maybe 2 more minutes. You know, once we got like, and I say this to say because I tell this story this way for one reason. Because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you're going to want to give up. But there's a clear blue sky waiting on the other side for you. And this is probably the first time like I came from that plateau. I was at a plateau of healing and deliverance, a plateau. Like, and don't get me wrong. We don't have a diagnosis at this point, but Jesus does work. Okay. And it was working for me, but go get you some medicine too.
I like what you just said though, like being at this plateau, and I was talking to, like, side note, I was talking to my personal coach and I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm at a plateau. But it's like that moment, and she made me aware. It's like, but that means you were climbing up though. Like you've been journeying up and now you're here and now we're just waiting for the next journey up. And I think that's just all life is. So even in that moment, like you have went through different seasons from suicidal thoughts, going through the grief of, your grandparent, and then you're just journeying through life. Now you get to American Idol where you're getting setback. And now we get back to this abandonment wound that you're feeling with your father. And now you're up this mountain in this plateau and you just keep going. Character development.
Character development. But the most important thing, I'm so happy you said the wound, the abandonment. He calls me after I get back from American Idol. He calls me.
Yeah.
He's calling me to, like, he wants to say, hey, I seen you on TV, but he couldn't say it. So he said, hey, what's up with you? And I say, now remind you, I'm on my way. I'm getting ready to, like, I'm probably 2 to 3 months after I flew back from Hollywood, California. My parents were in the MBS airport waiting for me with a sign like, you're our American Idol, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting ready to go to Montana right after that. He calls me, he says, what's up with you? And I was like, what do you mean, what's up with me? Like, I went off. I was like, because that, no matter how you want to say it, American Idol was for him. Maybe he will notice me. Maybe it's enough to hear it. Maybe I can get him to understand what he lost. Maybe. So that's where I was. And that's how I know, like, Montana was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So I get to the mountain and it's clear blue skies. And it felt like the weights just dropped off me. But the job wasn't done yet. So I remember saying quietly, you know, I forgive you. But the song that came to mind is, when I got up there, I sang. And music is always the hospital. And it is, it's by, I want to say it's by Patsy Cline, but it's called Up to the Mountain. And it says, I went up to the mountain because you asked me to, up over the clouds where the sky was blue. Some days I look down, afraid I will fall. I could see all around me, like I see nothing at all. Like, but then I hear your sweet voice telling me slowly, you love me so. That's what I sang when I got up to the top of the mountain. And I got back down from the mountain and I went to the chapel. I got away from everybody. Yeah. And I sat down on the piano and I wrote, I forgive you this day. And it literally said, I'm not saying that it still doesn't hurt. I'm not saying that I didn't cry at night. See, I wanted you to be the one to break all the curses. But instead, you left it up to me. So the first step is, I forgive you this day. I forgive you this day for eternity. Deep cries out to deep. See, I know that maybe your life wasn't great, so I'm cleaning your slate so you too can be free. And that was it. And for the first time in history, he was in Saginaw. I got off the plane from Montana. Before I left Montana, I wrote him the letter. And I told him, I said, I clean your slate. I'm letting go of everything, every single thing. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't want to talk about it. I want to move forward. And I started the forgiveness journey. 365 days of forgiveness. Every day I wake up and I would forgive him. To the point where now, 27 years old, getting married, having twins of my own. I used to say when I was at the schools, I'm a man with 2 kids. I can't afford to be broken. Yeah. So my kids love their granddad.
I don't think you get, and I hate to kind of go there, but when I think about people who sing and who's in music and they write songs, they have these type of stories. And it's painful, but it's like, who else but you? And it's like you have to go through it in order to get someone else out of it. Like, You know what I mean? Like, I know people who haven't had a father. I mean, mine passed when I was a baby. So it's like, I never, you know what I mean? It wasn't like someone was living on earth who just abandoned me, but there was it's a sort of an abandonment when they do die at it,
No,
you know, in your young
absolutely.
age. So that healing journey that you went through is going to save somebody else. And it has saved somebody else. I mean, the work that you're doing right now. So I know we've been talking at length, but it's so much to this, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think you have to take us through that journey because it only gets you to where you are right now.
Yes.
So I do want to ask you, because you're a mental health advocate now.
Mm-hmm.
You were misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen, or what happened?
So this is great because the story is perfect. We're right in the right place. Pops died. Pops died in 2019. I got married. I had the twins. I named Charles Brian Norman, Jules Cherie, after my mom. And then in 2019, I got married in 2016. And then in 2019, February, remember I told you surgery day was February 19th. Pops died February 22nd. Wow. And it was hard, painful. However, I didn't know what was going on because I still had never seen a therapist or anything like that. And then we took a trip to Florida after Pops died. It was the first trip that we had taken since he had died. And the wedding that we were going to was for one of my baby cousins, my first cousin's daughter. Remember, everybody's older than me, so
Yeah.
she was getting married. Like, I'm probably closer today than I am Tasha, but she was getting married, and she was getting married on Pops' death date, and we were in Florida, and we was roughing it because we was all in one room. All right. And not all of us. I think my cousin and them had another room, but it didn't matter. I was with my mom and them in the room.
Yeah.
And I remembered the words, "I'm at capacity." For the first time in life, I couldn't breathe. And I couldn't hold anymore. Music wouldn't do it. I couldn't soothe myself. And I remember leaving the hotel and walking down the street in an area that I didn't even know. Like, I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. And my mom called. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I don't have the capacity to deal with any of you at this current juncture. I have to work on me right now." And I flew back from there. And this was the first time, and I'm going to say it because, if you don't mind, well, I'll say it like this. This is the first time my mother found out that I was doing extracurricular activities or herbal medicine.
Okay. I was like, I don't know what you're going to say.
I'm trying to be professional.
Okay.
And I remember her being like, "Okay, I've never seen you this calm. Like, are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm good. I'm better now." But long story short, I flew back. I got a therapist. I ain't gonna tell you her name because she was horrible. She was trifling.
But you took the step of getting therapy.
Yes, but I want you to know that if it ain't working with the one, get another one. That's what I want you to know.
Yes.
Because swear to you, like, I already knew I had problems with appointments.
Yeah.
I already knew I had problems with self-care. Well, if you're dealing with mental health, you have problems with appointments. You have, especially mine, you have problems with self-care. So one day, and I'm happy we're talking about this because this gets to tell you more about myself. I came into the therapist's office after a couple of visits. She had told me, she's like, "If you're not going to be here, you need to tell me. If you're not going to do this, you need to tell me." Yeah, like, blah, blah, blah. And I had already started off with, like, "I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. I'm going to need your help, blah, blah, blah." And one day I came into their office and I was like, I want to talk about when I was molested as a child. And that's like how I opened up.
And this is the therapist that you didn't like, or is this a new
I didn't like. This
okay.
I didn't like.
Okay.
And I said, I want to talk about how, being molested. And I just start going through it. And I was like, it happened in the basement. I was telling her all of the details. Because it was some reason it was fresh on my mind. And she was like, you're in a manic state. You're bipolar 2 or whatever. Or bipolar 1 disorder. You have bipolar disorder. Like, there's no way you're just going to walk in this office and tell me about your greatest secrets and all of this stuff. You're in a manic state. Like, she went up one side, down the other.
Oh my God.
And then diagnosed me and put it in my chart.
Oh, wow.
Like,
oh my God.
I thought and it's so funny because I didn't know that it was in my chart for real. I thought like she just wrongfully diagnosed me and then she didn't literally put it down. No, it's in my charts.
Wow.
It's in my charts. And she never prescribed medication. Like, she diagnosed me and then I was late to another appointment. And then I remember saying to myself, I said, I don't know if this is the person I should be seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met my lady a little bit later on, like in 22.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in 2019, I got divorced too.
Okay.
So
yeah.
19.
I'm like, you met someone
Pops
else? Okay.
died.
Yeah.
February 22nd. I had already filed for divorce on his birthday, October 28th of 18.
Yeah.
And I didn't even talk about or go through. We don't even have to.
No, we're gonna keep going.
We don't even have to go through all of that. But that was like another thing, like finding out that not only did I struggle with some issues with mental health, but so did that person. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna leave their story for them. But I got a divorce and Pops died in the same year, which is 2 deaths. If you know anything about divorce is death. Yeah. It is not for the faint of hearts. If you can stay. If it's hurting you, get out. But it hurts either way. So,
but now it makes me think though, like even going through that relationship, I feel like we attract what we are, right? Mm-hmm. And
absolutely,
being in that relationship, had you had the correct diagnosis or medication or whatever that was, could it have been a more successful relationship?
We would have both had to be diagnosed.
Okay.
We would have both had to want to treat ourselves because though I didn't have the correct diagnosis, I had tools in my toolbox. Mm. I was willing. I didn't know that it was a diagnosis that I needed. I was willing to be open. I was willing to change. I was willing to try. Gotcha. So fast forward to meeting the love of my life now. It was 2022 and I was 2022, 2023 in that area. I remember saying like, I'm bipolar. Like because I always have been told that I'm not good enough or I'm always later or I'm always being beat up because I'm not like performing at what life expects you or what society expects you to perform at in life. So at this point, like when I get with somebody, I just throw it all at them. Like I'm like, go on and leave now, because if you don't want it,
take me or leave me.
Take it. I'm serious. I'll be like, here it is. I'm bipolar. I'm this. Da, 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 da. I struggle with grief. I struggle with that. I didn't like. And I'm like, I'm just trying to basically give the person the out to walk out the door. Mm. And thank you, Holy Ghost, because I didn't realize that's what. So I done gave this person everything they need to know for them to say no to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I did that to my lady, and she was like, I don't think you bipolar, bro. And she don't say bro, but that's kind of how I felt. And I was like, but I am. I was diagnosed by. She said, I don't think that's true. And she starts saying, I think you're ADHD. Mm. And I was like, And I did and I started watching videos. We're in a For You page now. Like you can find out.
You can find out everything.
You don't need
TikTok, Instagram, really Facebook.
If they did therapy appointments on YouTube, we'll be all right. Like, so I literally, so at this point, I knew that I was bipolar. So I wrote Trapped in My Mind. There's always going to be a song. And Trapped in My Mind just basically talked about the symptoms of ADHD, but I didn't realize it. I thought it was bipolar disorder because this lady told me I was bipolar. So the song is called Bipolar Reality, in parentheses, Trapped in My Mind. And it simply says like, Procrastination is the language of the nation. Hesitation is the practice of a loser, a snoozer, the opposite of a producer, consumer. I'm sick in my mind where I reside. For my mail, I'm destined to fail. Staring at dishes, piled to the ceiling. Wish somebody would give me some feeling. Caught a mortician, alive by omission. I'm going through hell. My future's for sale. Said I'm trapped in my mind, holding my 9. I'm losing sleep, ain't got no peace. And just that was the song. And then like the second verse is, I wish that I can pardon me. My only hope for a new reality. Depression's got a hold on me. Depression's got a hold on me. I'm losing sight of my reality. I want you to know, because you got to know, clothes on the floor, plaque on my teeth. Grief is really, clothes on the floor, plaque on my teeth. My neighbor keeps harassing me. I'm singing for peace, trying to find me. I hope she doesn't call the police. I had the worst neighbor at this time. But she can hear me. The walls were so thin. She can hear me singing at 3 o'clock in the morning, because during the pandemic, 2019, I found Bigo. So I was live streaming on an app, singing through her walls. so that was like this, all of this stuff, doom boxes, cleaning, all of these things are in this song. And even the suicide, I'm holding my 9, I'm losing control, nobody knows. Mm-hmm. So I started singing this song and telling people I was bipolar, and I did my first mental health awareness rally because I knew that it was so hard. At this point, I'm doing a mental health awareness rally without a therapist because I done fired my therapist. Fire them. Let them go. Get you a new one.
Oh my God.
You said, if anything, profile. Yes, it may not be them. They not the one.
No, I do agree with that, though. I do agree. And I tell people that, too, because I've seen a therapist as well. And it's like, okay, if that one doesn't work, it's like shopping. Or dating. You go to another one.
You have to. Please
until you
feel free.
That connection, or you're getting the right answers or the right help. So did you get the correct diagnosis, or is this now a self-diagnosis?
No. No, I fired her, and then I did my first mental health awareness rally, and then I like invited a whole bunch of vendors and stuff, and I still didn't go get treatment with none of them. But then like I went back and I got treatment, and I actually, his name was Dr. Bala.
Yes.
You know who this is?
Yes.
He was a resident at the time.
He works for CMU Health.
He does. I haven't seen him since.
Okay.
Because he was at Great Lakes when I met him. So, but younger guy, amazing. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking when I walked in the room, like, well, at least he's a person of color. and being raised the way I was in my older age, I don't even care how you feel about it. I just got to be honest with you. I love all people, but at this current juncture, I needed somebody that understood not only mental health, but racism and how that affects your mental health. Yeah. Because you got a whole, we're in a community of people code switching. I'm code switching all the time. How they really gonna find out what's going on with me? Because they got to understand that he code switches. Like, you got to know. Yeah. So I walked into Dr. Bala's office, and y'all, I remember finally getting a chance to really, this was the first therapy session that I actually had. And he, like, it just felt like he was peeling away at onions. Like, and he was like getting down to the nitty gritty. We had like 2 sessions. He prescribed, because he still hadn't made a diagnosis. He only could see what they had put on there.
Okay.
And he was kind of going to go with it. And then he would start talking, and then he didn't even correct it yet. But I went what I got was the relief I needed to at least feel like I can get in the program.
Someone's actually listening to you.
And then I met Dr. Grostefan, and she was the first person she was like, well, let me give you the assessment. If you feel like you're ADHD, you don't feel like you're bipolar, let me give you the assessment. We did the assessment, and this is just the written assessment. This ain't the real one that they can give you some medicine around. We did the assessment, and she was like, yeah, I mean, I definitely see that you're probably ADHD. And then I was like, okay, so what's next?
Right.
Because at this point, I've left every job that I've ever been at. My work history has went from a loyal employee to this joker don't care he leaving. Because what happened is I started getting anxiety so bad in my adult life after my dad died. Like, not to mention, I just said my dad died. My dad died February 22nd. But January 4th, before February 22nd, his brother died. And then 2 years after that, my uncle died. And before his brother or him died, his son died.
So you're like just dealing with
And then my mother's best friend died. And then Gary Jacobs died before Pops died. I don't know if you remember Gary Jacobs, but Gary Jacobs was one of the youth leaders too at Center Attraction. And I remember asking a dumb question while Victoria and all of them were dealing with their dad's death. I asked this question, I wonder what they feel like. And then my daddy died. I didn't have to ask. And I think that was the Holy Ghost trying to get me to ask that question so I could prepare myself. Because Pops kept saying, like, I want to prepare you. I want to prepare you for my death, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you ain't dying never. You getting caught up in the rapture. So getting to Dr. Grostefan and doing the assessment, and now fast forward, just now, it's been, I want to say 7 months that I've been taking medication for ADHD, combined presentation. But I started the process in 23. I waited a year and a half before she finally said, well, our person is behind, so they can't do the actual ADHD assessment. So you can go to another location and they can do it, and then I can treat you. And that was $350 for me to get the assessment at Saginaw Psychological. Then I had to go back and wait for her to roll out Focalin, which is meant for kids. After Focalin, rolled out a little more Focalin. And then after that, rolled out something else. And then finally got to Concerta. And that still ain't. So this is where we are now in the transition.
Yeah.
I don't like my therapist now.
Charles.
I've gotten rid of him too. Sorry.
Okay.
You were great. You lasted for about 3, 4, 5. But I still got Dr. Garcia. So I don't have a therapist, but if I need to talk, she'll talk to me. But no, I encourage y'all to please stay in therapy. I really do. You need it. It's just that I need to find the right one. And I encourage you to find the right one.
Yeah.
And
she's in the process. We're in the journey. We're still in the journey. We still have life. We're in the journey right now.
I'm on the journey, yes. But I've also found out through this process, this is the best balance that I've ever had. Like, because now I know why I couldn't tell time. Now I know why I slept in 9th grade math. Now I know why when I get on the stage to perform and I get off and I go in the back room or I go around the crowd, I know why. I would plan all these events and then the ADHD would show up, not the outgoing person. Because if you're ADHD, you're masking 90% of the time. And I'm always trying to mask. Like, I'm like texting you, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be a little late. That's my everyday life. So now when I do show up on time, I'm like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. I made it. I got there on time. And I actually got here at 10:05, but I couldn't find a place. That was a miracle for me because I actually not only did I take my kids to school and they got there on time, but for me to get here at 10:05 after doing that and getting a shower and
it's work. And that's what I hear with ADHD. Like, it's, I don't want to say normal, but people who don't have it, it's like, oh yeah, I do this and it's just a step. But for those with ADHD, it's a lot of mental workload.
Yes, because for me to take a shower, I have to tell myself to take a shower more than once. Nothing's in autopilot for us. Like this morning, I got 5 alarms set. And I'm trying to, and it's funny because I'll be like, why am I like this? And I've found now, like, I don't take medicine if I'm going to perform.
Mm.
You'll start to find like what works for you. So I've finally found like, so I take a combination of, and I'm only talking about this because I feel like my people are not comfortable talking about medication like they should be. And they feel like we've always been taught like something is wrong with you if you have to take medicine. No, baby, something is right if you know you can go get some medicine and get yourself right. So I take guanfacine and Concerta, or something. It's pronounced something like that. And then I take that in the morning. And some days it works, some days it doesn't. I think I need like a little more milligrammage. However, I don't feel overloaded. I've been able to wash my dishes for the last 2 to 3 months, which y'all may not know that's
victory.
It's a victory for me because I think with ADHD, that's what the stress is that you feel like you're failing at life. Like with my children, like if their room is messy, I feel like it's my fault personally, and I feel like I'm not a good parent. Like I've said that to myself this year so many times, yet I'm full-timing it as a daddy. And if you're out there, please give yourself credit for the things that you are accomplishing. And also be okay with the journey. It's not a sprint. It's not. You got to walk. It's a marathon. And the race is not given to those who are swift or strong. It's given to those who endure to the end. Please endure. And guess what? You'll be right here with this leopard shirt on, knowing who you are, knowing that you are loved, knowing that you can breathe. And stop looking to be okay. You're not okay. Be balanced. Because the thing of it is that the beautiful thing about life is God didn't intend for nobody to be the same. And I did some research on ADHD. The reason why people are ADHD is because of the way the world's developed is great. But back in the day when you was in the wilderness, you needed to be able to hear everywhere. That's why if you see an ADHD person in the room, they're hearing your cell phone charge, they're hearing that click of the camera, they're hearing all of those things and the buzzing. But if you were in a wilderness, you would need that those kind of superhuman skills. And you don't think they're superhuman until you start realizing, like, I'm processing so much at one time. If you ever put that bilateral music on, oh my God, it's the most amazing experience. Like you're hearing this music go from here, and it makes you feel so good. Learning to accept those things. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm done.
You said a mouthful, but it was all, oh my God. There's so much to take away from this conversation for Black men, for people who are struggling with ADHD, or maybe they have a diagnosis and they don't feel like it's the right diagnosis. Definitely go see a different therapist or a doctor. I mean, we could keep going, right? In this conversation. And I'm sure there were things in your story that you didn't talk about, but what you gave us, I think definitely is going to help somebody out there. And before we even close out, I want to ask you, you do have an event coming up, but it's a semi-annual mental health event that you're putting on.
Yes.
It's mixing music with mental health.
Yes.
Tell them how they can find more details as far as 2026. How can they find out more?
Okay, so look, yes, because we're going to wrap this, and I'm doing all this I ain't going to even tell y'all. But 2026, Identifying Triggers Part 3. I don't know if it'll be Identifying Triggers Part 3, but find me on social media, first of all. That's Charles Allen. I think what I'll do is I'll create a page for the awareness rally. But next year, in May, because my team and I have decided that we're going to go annual now. So as soon as we finish this one, we wrap this one in September, next year in May, before school wraps, we'll be doing our third, it'll be our first annual one.
Okay.
So actually it'll be second annual because because we're doing this year with the second annual. So listen, I'm trying to get it out there. So listen, I believe that music helps with music therapy, yoga therapy. So what we do is we bring everybody together and we offer all these services in one day. We offer music therapy, we offer yoga therapy, we offer even coloring. You get to color. We have a kid zone. A lot of y'all dealing with mental health issues because your kids is annoying. I'm just gonna say it. Them kids need to be somewhere. So we got somewhere for your kids to play some games while you go chill and you enjoy the moment. There's gonna be a panel of experts, and also just a panel of people, of just humans, you know? So next year, 2026, please come out. And by, this year we were able to give out 2 free scholarships for uninsured people. That's a full ride. That's 2 treatments a month plus their $200 intake offered through Solutions Behavioral Health and Mental and Michigan United. Next year, my goal is to do 4. So if you're uninsured, come see us, because we're not only just doing a rally, we're bridging the gap between treatment and mental health.
Thank you so much, Charles. That is beautiful. And I didn't know that you were also helping uninsured people, but wow, that is amazing. Tell them the Facebook one more time, just so they know it.
Charles Allen Music is how you find the URL, and it's just Charles Allen. There's a picture of me holding a mic.
Yes. Thank you so much, Charles.
Thank you.
This is beautiful.